Hello and welcome back, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all are well and that you've had a nice week. Today, in the world of Witcher lore and information, we are going to be talking about the Manticore School. However, this school has very little known about itself, and anything out there is largely speculation and theories. In light of that, this entire video will be structured around what the school could be rather than what it is. The Manticore Witchers are those shrouded in mystery, said to be hunters and warriors from lands far to the east. Now, it is unknown if they are one of the fragments left behind from the old order like every other Witcher school, but for them to truly be witchers, it can only be assumed that the founders were once from the northern lands and once broke from the order of witchers. The largest wealth of information we have on these witchers comes from their armor. The dark leather is lined with buckles and belts, dotted by pouches containing vials. We know that witches do indeed use many types of potions, but it seems that the Manticore Witchers had an even closer relationship with alchemy. This theory is strengthened by the fact that Zerrikania is generally famed for its alchemists, Zerrikania being the eastern realm where these witches are rumoured to live. The bordering lands are known as Heartland, a place famed for its riders and archers. It could be said that perhaps the Manticore Witchers also favour similar weapons and maybe even ride into combat on horseback. This is another theory that is related to the location of the school and the local customs and just how those might influence the witches themselves. But since the Manticore is known as a poisonous creature, I wager that alchemy is the best match, since it will very likely be a part of the way they fight and the way they address creatures and other beings in combat. As to their code and their trials, we can only imagine that they run along the same lines as most Witcher schools. I would have thought though that since they spend a large amount of their time hunting in the deserts and warmer climates, they likely have adapted their training to include more survivalistic attitudes. I know that most witches are more enduring than most humans, but still, I'm not too sure how harsh of a climate and how harsh of an environment that these witches do live in when it comes to Zerrikania and just generally the Eastern realms. With a vast gap in our knowledge of these witches, we can only assume that the school is still recruiting and training newcomers. At least that would be the best possible outcome, since we already know that many of the Witcher schools have fallen into complete decline. At least it would be the best bet, and it may be where the Witchers are flourishing in the world as opposed to being nothing more than a faded memory. As always everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video then please subscribe and share it around with anyone you think might be interested in this type of content. And as always, if you want to support me financially, you can go and check out my Patreon, but if you do not have coin to spare for your Witcher, then please just consider leaving a like, a comment, and like I said, just sharing this around with anyone you think who might like it. And until the next one, you all go and have a very, very wonderful day. Blacksad.